very hard here. And like, we were talking to Phil about this afternoon. It's like this whole episode is based on going up and down. They go all the way to the top, then they go all the way to the bottom, then they go all the way to the top, and then he goes all the way down the lift shaft to the bottom again. And that's a really hard thing to... Telly does left to right very easily. All telly's like left to right, in and out of doors, cars, left to right, everything. And up and down is a real cinematic thing. I think. I'm making this up, but I really do think this. It's like, and I think the more up and down we get in Doctor Who, the more exciting it gets, actually. Depth and height is more scary than just going right to left, being chased by a monster sort of stuff. So, but it's very hard to... Doesn't this episode quite
up and down is scarier than left to right. That's quite a... That's an interesting thing. I'm rather reeling with that now.
Farce is left to right. Farce is left to right. Blah, 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 and comedies might be left to right, for all I know. I'm making this up as I go along. But I do think up and down is adventure. It's or it gives you a chance. And television very rarely does up and down full stop, because it's harder to do. To look up, to look down. You need some sort of crane. It's more expensive. And this whole episode is built around going up and down, that we didn't quite master. I've got to be honest. We don't quite get the reverses of direction.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's funny because I was talking about this, because we're getting there now. It's like episode 6 of this year's forthcoming series is the climax of that is a big up and down sequence. And 7's big up and down sequence. They're looking brilliant. It's like we've mastered it now. I think we know the right angles to do stuff at.
And the marvellous David Tennant.
I was trying to talk to cover this for you, David.
Yeah, thank you. I was brought up to see Stanley Baxter in pantomime at the Glasgow Kings.
I think you remind me of Snagglepuss. Do you remember that? Do you remember that? No, but it's the way you talk. It's Snagglepuss. You remember he was sort of like a slightly effete pink panther type.
You remind me of Zoe Wanamaker as Cassandra.
Thank you. That was the intention. Thank you, Russell.
I'm proper putting my foot in it. Snagglepuss is brilliantly funny.
You are, I know you were saying, I think you're marvellous doing that. Absolutely brilliant. 2 hearts and all these body parts and hardly used. That's
fabulous. There's quite a lot of stuff that we didn't manage to film around here. More scenes that we dropped that we didn't. There was quite a bit going on in the ward. They were. She tipped him out the bed and said, "Come on, lazy, help us."
There was a whole. The greatest victims of the lost material in this are stuff that was never filmed. Are the Duke and Frank Clovis?
Yeah.
He was always bossing her about. When it comes to an emergency, she does him to.
It's true. They did suffer, but it was through no fault of their own. It was simply because it was purely time, wasn't it? Because they were so good. Put them in New York next year.
Do you know? It's like
we shouldn't we?
I know they're lovely actors, and it felt like at one point every day we were phoning up saying, "Oh, we dropped that scene."
That's because we did. I mean, we did.
It was only about 4 scenes, but they came like in a row all the time, and it was like. Oh, it was unfortunate.
This sequence was a bit put together. Those close-up shots on the hand were great. But it is great.
But when you say bit put together, it's been so brilliantly put together.
Yeah.
It's like,
yes, it's been brilliantly put together. But what I mean is months apart.
Yeah. Yes.
Some of those shots.
Because what it is, we'd realised we didn't have enough of her on the ladder or enough of the patients below, and so we'd have to go back and pick bits up.
Yeah. And because we only had how long was the ladder, would you say, David? About 15 foot, wasn't it? Not much at all.
Tops, very little. I mean, whenever there's 3 people on the ladder, it had to be shot in 2 separate elements and bunged together later.
Yeah.
You and Billy weren't nervous about the Cassandra stuff, weren't you?
Well, it's finding the tone of something like that. I think it's difficult. I mean, the tone of Doctor Who requires you serving it up in a way that you don't do in normal drama anyway, so that takes a leap of faith. And then to then do something which is potentially as broad as we're being asked to do here, you've got to match it. You've got to match the broadness of that idea with a broadness of performance. But you're always nervous of going over the top. You know, that's so it's just trying to find the point where it is entertaining and serves the story without toppling into something that's a bit naff.
And you have done. It's hard. It is a science fiction thing as well. With any futuristic one, we have a tone meeting, and we sit there. And the constant tone of the futuristic ones is calm down, everyone. Don't add this. Don't add silly silver flanges, zippy uppy boiler suit things, or flashing lights on the wall for no reason. You know, that whole gag of science fiction. And it's like and then I'm the one sitting there saying calm down. And then I hand in a script where you become Cassandra and you all run up and down a lift shaft and escape from the
thing, isn't it? the more fantastical something is, the more real you have to play it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then when suddenly you're faced with something like that, you're thinking, well, this is glorious, and I'm desperate to kind of get my teeth into it and give it a go.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want to lose that reality, and the whole story falls apart.
Did you talk to Zoe Wanamaker about it? Did you say, hello, I'm going to be you?
Not really. I just kind of looked at her.
Watch her.
I watched her when she wasn't looking. But I think she was rather thrilled at the idea. I hope she's thrilled when she sees it.
Oh, she loved it.
This was the scene that would never
This is the
die.
scene.
Yes.
That shot was done 6 months after that shot,
And these
which was
shots...
done 3 months after that shot. And shots
All
of
of these
hands
shots.
were all done
Oh dear.
all sorts of different
And there
times.
was the lovely bit where there was a constant running joke about the Duke of Manhattan's winch. He says it once at the most, says winch me up. There was a whole detail, he'd always been winched forward and winched back down.
Yeah.
And there was the most marvellous joke where Billy, possessed as Cassandra, went to the Duke of Manhattan's bedside and got offered a glass of champagne by the butler. And he says, do you want champagne? She goes, oh, moisturise me. And that was so nice, that moment. I really missed that.
Yeah.
Can I say, I love this sequence.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do too.
I have replayed this sitting
I
at
do
home.
too.
Like
I have so
many
many times. I think it's probably one of the special effects sequences we've done that I was the most shocked. Not shocked by, but I just couldn't believe how much they transformed it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. It's. I know it's, but because we knew what it would look like, and we
Yeah.
knew it would look like this, and yet it's just
It's
magic.
perfect. Those shots are just perfect. I really believe they're at the top of.
And it's you
massive-
two, and it's you two enjoying it as well.
Look.
This is the music I want to write a song to one day. I'm Doctor Who.
It's brilliant.
I just love it. I think, and that's up and down. It's like there's no other way you could do that. Get that
Yeah.
amount of
It's brilliant.
die-hard
So
sort of
exhilarating.
Star Wars physical thrill. You have to do that. You have to
Yeah.
slide down another shot.
Yeah.
How marvellous. But now he's going to be a doctor. Hooray.
Yeah.
So there we are in our studio, and when you leap through the lift,
Oh, yeah.
we're back in the Millennium Centre again.
Yes.
I am like locations are us on these, aren't I? But
Originally, in the very first draft of the script, he came up with a cure for this, and the cure was to kill them all.
yes.
All the
He did.
patients got killed.
That's a bit harsh.
It was a bit harsh, and then I read Stephen Moffat marvellously wrote an introduction in the Doctor Who script book, and he said, just as a joke, he sort of said, "Oh, I do like those Russell T Davies scripts. He invents interesting characters and then melts them." And I read that, and I thought,
I'll show him.
do you know? No, actually, seriously, I thought, we've got a point, actually. I do love slaughtering them all at the end. And I went back and read this, and I thought, oh, that's horrible, actually. It was sort of nicely written, so you'd set them free, and it was their only form of release. And
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. You probably read it. I don't know if you read a draft.
I
of
didn't read
happened.
that. No.
Oh, and it
Well,
was,
they all died. Everyone died.
It was
My God,
grim.
It was bleak.
And then the face of Bo died.
yes.
And then Cassandra dies. It was like
right,
Peckinpah.
right.
It's like they turned into Peckinpah in the last 5 minutes. I must have been in a very bad mood, basically.
I think you were.
I think I was actually.
You
I think
were
actually I was
when
like
you
with something.
Anger at the world.
No, and it's so not Doctor Who to be like that.
Yeah.
It's another
This
thing.
is another bit where every single shot you cut to here is about 6 months apart, isn't it?
Yes.
Some-
Everyone's in different places.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yes.
Well, because we shot into the lift. No, we shot going in and coming out of the lift at the Millennium Centre.
That's the last thing shot. The
That's
woman.
the very last thing,
That's-
because you wanted that shot.
Well, it didn't work. It didn't because having done all these pickups and all these reshoots, we got to the very last edit, and I went, "Oh, it just doesn't work unless you see someone's face clearly.
Right.
You don't quite understand what's happening."
Right.
So Phil was very happy.
Very happy. Yeah, so when we see you looking into the lift, that was in our studio, and then these shots were back at the Millennium Centre again. So there's a slight necessity of separating it, but it was quite a big separation, wasn't it?
It's more than usual because it's always like
Yeah.
that, but it is more than usual on this one.
On this episode.
And as a result, we get this lovely speech and lovely acting of Sir David Tennant, which is, and it's the Doctor.
Oh, it's the speech. It's
so
the speech.
the Doctor as well. Now it's like, hooray!
It's the speech and being covered in a bucket of water. That's what does it.
What time of night is it with you with that water?
This was the middle of the night. This
Yeah.
was
So
the,
it's
the
about
very
4
end
o'clock
of
in the
our
morning.
night in the Millennium Centre. We were chasing the
You
clock
left.
again.
You left us, and we had we were multiplying our extras, so we were making 25 of them look like 125, and